As a dad and a chief operations officer, I know the importance of sending children to school each day and believing that they will be safe. We have a lot of safety protocols in place throughout the Mason School District, and we are grateful for our unique relationship with the Mason Police Department, which provides law enforcement in each of our schools every day.
At Mason City Schools, for staff and students, we utilize the ALICE model for our safety training. ALICE is an acronym that is a quick way for our staff and students to recognize in a crisis situation what are the most appropriate ways to respond. A in ALICE represents alert. What we ask our staff and students with alert is to let either an immediate threat, let a staff member know, an administrator, a counselor, a mental wellness coordinator, if there's an immediate threat. This is very key to make sure we get help for the crisis situation. It's very much modeled after the see something, say something, where we want our staff and students, if they see something that is threatening, to alert administration or Mason Police when appropriate, so we can get the right level of support to our schools.
We try to teach the young people here at Mason Schools that someone is going to be in the building that's supposed to be here. They're going to be identified by either a visitor badge, or if it's staff, they're going to have their Prox card on them with their picture. One of the hurdles we have here is kids are taught to be polite and they're taught to respect older people. And when someone knocks on a side door and says, hey, let me in, those kids want to help them and let them in. So we try to teach them that if that is a good person, they're going to go around to the front entrance and come in where they're supposed to. If it's a teacher, they're going to have a badge. And if they don't know who that person is, they just need to ignore that person that's asking for help, because eventually that good person will come in the way they're supposed to. If they're someone who's not supposed to be in the building, then we've just prevented them from coming in.
The L in ALICE represents lockdown. For grades 7 through 12, there are really two types of lockdowns that we would impose in a safety situation. An external lockdown simply means that there's some type of threat outside in the community where we would lock all of our exterior doors and make sure the students were not out and above our campuses. That would be guided by Mason Police Department, who would let us know about that threat. An internal lockdown is used when the threat is inside one of our buildings. For an internal lockdown, we ask our staff and students to actively barricade any of the doors to ensure that the threat cannot go inside a classroom in a safety situation. The I in ALICE represents inform. For our staff and students 7 through 12, we simply ask if there is an immediate safety risk, call 911. 911 call will ensure that Mason Police and other police agencies respond to our building. It also is important to call 911 because our buildings are equipped with Marks radios that we would utilize that would alert all surrounding police agencies of a threat in one of our buildings. So any staff or students, if they see an immediate threat, we encourage everyone to call 911 to get our first responders here.
And the I stands for inform. What do we do when we inform someone?
We inform what's going on.
Right, we're going to tell them what's happening.
C in ALICE represents counter. This is our last-ditch effort if the threat is of immediate vicinity and there's no other option. For countering, what we're asking our staff and students to do anything to disrupt the threat, whether it be throw paper in the air, to throw something at the individual. We know from research that this will disrupt the threat, and simple actions such as even yelling, hey, can throw that threat off a little bit. That gives us more time for Mason Police and our school safety team to respond to the situation. Again, the C is really our last-ditch effort, but anything we can do to help minimize that threat, delay time, so our police can respond accordingly. The E in ALICE stands for evacuate. This follows our natural instincts in a safety or a threatening situation to remove ourselves from the situation. For grades 7 through 12, we empower our staff and students to make that call. If they can leave our buildings, please do in a safe manner, then they should. Administration will communicate reunification points throughout the Mason area that we have designed, depending on the threat, which would be an area where students could go. Our staff will be in those areas, and we encourage students, if they need to follow the teacher, go follow the teachers, and they will get you to those safe areas. If a student is more comfortable getting in their car, or they live in close proximity to our buildings and can get home, and that's what you all think is best as families, then we encourage you to do that. It is important to have communication, though, with your child 7 through 12 to establish what is your family expectation. When can the student get a hold of you? We do know that during the evacuation, we want to get them out to safely, but we encourage students should reach out to parents and a text or a phone call and have those tough conversations with your child about what is the expectation of should they come home, should they talk to you first, and again, our staff will be helping to coordinate all these efforts, but the evacuation is a key point to get out of harm's way, get to a safe environment, and then high school administration and middle school administration, as well as our school safety team, we'll work to identify all of our students and reach out to families when we can do so. But in the immediate threat, it's important to evacuate and leave the campus.
The younger kids, we actually teach them to kind of follow their teacher's lead a lot. The teacher, when kindergarten, first and second graders are in a situation that they need to stay safe, they always look to their teacher for those directions. We teach them kind of the put your eyes on your teacher and they're going to tell you what to do. So if the teacher says we need to go to our safe place, they're going to evacuate the building and they're going to go to that safe place.
We know that not all students will react to ALICE or emergencies in the same way. Therefore, our staff is ready to support kids in any capacity that they require. Specifically, students with disabilities, students with high anxiety levels, sometimes students with sensory needs, emergencies and loud noises or a lot of movement can cause additional stress. So staff is always at the ready to ensure their safety.
As part of the campus safety team, I feel one of the most important things that we do are offer relationships that we have with the students and building those relations. And not only that, but building that trust that comes with officer and student. So students have somebody that they can turn to in a time of need or in a time of crisis.